right. Cool. Are we in? Cool deal. Let's see. Is it Zoom too? Where is it? Where are you, Zoom? Am I on? Start video? No. Um, okay. Logged into Zoom. And we're on. All right. Logged into Zoom and on. Okay, I requested that. Let me know if you see the Zoom. Hey, what's going on? Shit, you're G now, man. You fucking man. I tell you what, that shit with Cynthia. Wow. I fuck these people. You know what? Because I then went to the YouTube create live, and then is the link there? Glad anybody here, right here. So don't want to give too much attention to. That's cool. Yeah, you should. You should fucking put her on blast. Should be okay. Hopefully. Okay, it should be better now. Is it working? No, it came up with the mute on, and now the sound, I turned the sound on, and now it might be. Fucking really? The wheel? All right, man. Okay, cool. All right, folks. So anyway, Bear put that link out, and I clicked on it twice. I saw Adam Brashear's meeting, and I'm like, who the fuck is that? I'm like, but it's him. So anyway, yeah. So he don't want to really mess with people, man, but he and Fendi cut me off once saying your internet's bad. Maybe it was. It probably was. So I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, so I got predictions on tomorrow. I got predictions. I look at it this way. If I'm still blocked on everything K-Pro does and the Calazar's channel and everything, Thor and all of it, anything, then it must not be important tomorrow. I mean, if somebody had something good tomorrow to drop, they'd want me to have to come in and say, damn, man, you were right, and be shocked and say, like, you're right, and, you know, congratulations and all that. So I don't really think there's much. What I think they're going to do is reinforce that this user Condor is Jack. Man, it's a dead end. I don't see nothing in that. There's nothing. I mean, it's cool and all, but I have a theory about Jack that has to do with him being an imposter. Okay, he's Jack. All right. Let's, for the sake of argument, he's Jack. That's cool. But I don't know where that gets me. And I mean, I need to get somewhere in this. We really need to roll. And what I think is happening here, Jack. Okay, so we know Dale ended it, right? Or we know Forrest sent email to Dale December 20 or November 2019. Got to end this. Indy is cool because, especially being smart, but also being left in the dark with this. Okay, because and fighting Cynthia and all that, she is now divided from insiders completely. I think it's okay if her best friend is an insider or whatever, and they can still be friends, man. We don't have to force anybody not to be, but leaving her out of it tells me a lot. So I'm cool with that. I hope you know, we're all cool here. And so here's what I think Jack did. This is my today thought, man. The thoughts change so fast with everybody in this. My thing now is Forrest. We know he sent Dale the emails like, I think I should end it. And then at the end, he's like, I'm going to end it, right? And that's it. Dale basically said, I'm just going to leave this here. It looks like Forrest did it. And Dale went so much in a video with Cynthia to say, what if Jack was given the chest? What if he was given the solve? And I thought, no, actually, you know what? I don't think she's an insider either now. I think she's come into a different light. I think I enjoy this, and that's cool. I get that. But okay. Honestly, no, I think she's trying and she might have something, but if it's to only reinforce Jack as the condor, then it's not that big. It's not going to break the internet. And it's not, if you could tell me what happened with Jack or something, or was she said, I think he's dishonest, or it might not be the way he said, or something like that. Okay, that's interesting to me. I give it a chance. I'm not going to diss that. I'm not afraid to be wrong if I'm wrong. But I want to go back to Jack. Dale receiving the Forrest email, basically letting us know Forrest ended it. We totally should know this by now. Things have a way of slipping away after a couple months. It doesn't become as important. That is very important still. It's very important to not listen to Jack, or to listen to him less now that we know he might have been a setup or a plant or whatever. My theory, though, right now is that, and he's welcome to jump in and correct me. I would love to see it. I don't think he watches my shit, but anyway, what I think's going on here is Forrest pulled the box in early 2020. I mean, by January, he was sounding publicly like he was going to do so as well, saying it's a year of vision or something like that, which is funny because I said 2020, the year of vision, somewhere else as a different person. But anyhow, so he was watching that account too. Anyway, he pulls the box and then hails the press, Jack, Dan, whoever, to give a good narrative, get it going where to give good press, to have a meeting with some press people. Here's the box. They're sitting at the table. Somebody's behind the camera. Jack's at the table. There's an interview, right? And then Forrest slips up there at that table where the treasure is. That's where Forrest slips up and tells Jack, I pulled it. So we're going to go ahead and do something here. I don't think he gave Jack the box, and definitely Jack did not solve and retrieve it. His outdoor information doesn't jive with what a lot of us are familiar with of 25 days of camping or whatever. It doesn't seem like that. Anyhow, the better part is that the fun part here is that Jack took the picture of meeting with Forrest, waited till days after he died or months to release that and make himself look like the finder. You understand? He had a setup where he's there with Forrest and the box interviewing, because Forrest is in a mode where, and this is hypothetical, this is in my opinion, Forrest is in a mode where he has to have fixers, have damage control. And he asks these people, what can we do? And at that point, they could scam him. And so they wait and Forrest leaves it in limbo. Like there's a finder, but he's from back east. He doesn't want to be visible or whatever. Jack's from Michigan. It's not back east. I'm thinking Atlantic states or back east. Probably even more like northern Atlantic states is when you say back east, right? So what happens here is that Jack also, I have a little list of 4 things that doesn't, and he doesn't have a solve. There's 2 other things that I might think of in a minute, but he opportunity to frame. Forrest thought I was a genius later on. Well, I think Jack was very aware of what was being shown, and after July, I showed my solve and it reflects gasoline and Mensa, which are pulled out of the cipher in the first 2 lines of the poem. And so if you find Mensa in the poem with a cipher, Forrest is calling you a genius, right? So he's able to use, and I'm sure he watches this stuff a lot. And, shit, really? Okay, where did I leave off? Am I back? Oh, man. Unstable. Am I here? Okay, good. Yeah, it's weird until about 10:30 sometimes. It can run later. Thank you. Okay. So anyway, so Jack gets a perfect setup to frame himself as the finder. And so he doesn't have the box. He's not technically from back east. He doesn't have a solve. And Forrest never said his name. Those are the 4 things right there. Okay. It could have been, Brian Gates. That could have been another situation where this happened a couple years ago. I don't think it would be more than 3 years ago, because 2017 is where it starts getting weird a little bit. Like Forrest is like, or 2018, early February 4th, 2018. Not taking more emails. I'm going to do this, and somebody's close or gut feeling. And so, well, remember, Brian, they had the masks. They had the mask on the table. So it seems that COVID is in play. By March of 2020, the masks were being used. They weren't mandated yet, but there was one on the table. So I'm going to say this is early 2020 in that, for the sake of it. But real quickly back to the topic where if I'm still blocked on a channel that claims that they're going to break the internet and that they're going to, it's breaking news and all this stuff. If I'm blocked, they don't have something. It's if I'm not blocked, if I'm lifted and I have to congratulate them for good news, that's what they'd want to do. They'd want to see me have to do it. And I would be like, this is really amazing. I'm wrong, whatever. I swear to God, man, I'd fucking say I'm wrong and I would say you're good and it's brilliant or whatever. So that's a little prediction of mine. And I'm really thinking that that's one thing. I'm not putting much stock into it. And I only talk about Jack because he needs to be disproven. And that's the purpose. So it depends on how you talk about Jack. It could be favorably. He did it. So Bear is basically telling me on his channel that, you don't have the box or the money. Nobody got paid, whatever. You can't have the solve. That's, then why the fuck are we still here? I mean, for his solve or what? I don't understand. So it's just a couple little things in my mind right now. What makes no sense? What do you mean? What makes no sense? Type that and let me know. I'll try to clarify. Well, if they add a mask to that photo, then it's going to have those square, it's going to have the pixelation around it. Its border is going to have the serrated edges and a slight blur or whatever if it's blown up, or and maybe be more of a clarity if it's shrunken down. So I've done a little Photoshop myself. Comment about blocking. What I mean to say is, if somebody had really great news, breaking news that's going to break the internet, I know I would I'd lift all the blocked people so they had to hear it and be there and comment and say congratulations, or still try to fight out of a paper bag and lose because your information is so good. Do you see what I'm saying? Now they can keep me blocked just because I'm a dick or whatever, even though I'm, they're winning or whatever. I get it. That's fine. I never did harm the woman and her husband anywhere near like 30 other people. I never, I don't know. I never ripped into her, man. I just asked really uncomfortable questions. And I remember very well what the last question was on Thor. I don't really want to go into it. I don't dwell on this. I don't fixate. I'm fixed on my own thoughts. And tell me what's wrong with me. I'd be happy to hear it. That's fine. Just giving some opinions on this shit because it's, man, when I hear people talk a lot on this shit, it fucking changes subjects and goes all around, and then nothing gets locked onto. I like to lock onto things and really figure them out. And it's weird how I get done in this chase, man, because it's kind of like we've gone from, that's not good information to, well, that's okay, but you suck or whatever, you're egotistical, to back to whatever anybody's feeling about a cipher or a solve, and then all that fighting. And I've determined already and gave evidence that Fenn said in the book, hint in the back cover inside Thrill of the Chase, he said in by having a cipher exist, or by having the so book clue, cipher exists. Then there's the foot pounds thing where he said no ciphers. Then there's the basically you'll have to decipher the poem. There's a quote like that. So that's 3-1 ciphers. But anyway, no one said something was wrong with me, but they treat me like that. Nobody's said my name or anything. They really can't say. If it were easy to say shit about me, people would have, whatever. But we're all fighting for our own ends in this, and that's fine. I understand. And fucking A, I'm rowdy. I got an ego. Whatever. I don't know if we all do or not. I know I do. And but I like to make sense too. And a lot of times I'll go along with people's stuff and talk in their realm and try not to. Now, if people are sitting there saying no ciphers on the chats, then it turns into my shit, and I have to go and make them stop by giving good arguments on that. But I don't know. I don't know how long it's all going to go. When I see other rabbit holes and other breaking news and things happening, it's not only denying the encryption that Fenn did, but because he denied it himself, but it's also pushing something else over it. It's just steamrolling right over it, like, you don't exist. Whatever, man, that's not going to bother me. Time will heal this. It'll probably go in a direction that I like. But um, other thoughts on this? Ben is interesting to me. Ben has, so he's the one who's been in on it with her for months, apparently, from what I saw K-Pro and Calazar's table meeting, 8-minute video here earlier. And I guess Ben was the person who's worked with it for months with her on this. And it must be important. I don't know. So he seems, I asked him directly, are you Hollywood? Are you doing this? No. I'm not just going to say he is anyway. He seems to be very interested in this brand new searchers. They went and checked some places out in Yellowstone or area near West Yellowstone town there. And I don't know, they're doing something. They're up to something. That's fine. Shows. And I mean, a lot of these people don't need to have shows. I mean, they're set fairly well, or professionals have jobs. I don't know why they do this. We're all interested. I understand why. Okay. But I don't know why it has to be a different story. It has to be something besides obvious things or whatever. That's where I'm at here. Hidden things in the poem. Bear basically boldface told me, even though I said my cipher thing was pretty good even before Susie's found book cover, inner cover hint that says cipher, he says, no, it doesn't. Boldface, no, it doesn't, and then didn't let me on after I clicked the link twice. I don't want to hurt him. He's a little more small time, a little bigger than my shit, man. I mean, what I'm showing 5 people. I get it. But I've been through this kind of thing before where I was a real fucking underdog, but had something. And I would not be here. I swear to God, man. I wouldn't tangle with any of yous, man. Any of this shit. If I didn't have the poem evidence. I mean, so now I'm like, why does this go under every time it gets tilled under? I don't know. Maybe it's so that the nutrients are there and it grows later, you know? The nitrogen comes out of it and the oxygen, the carbon, the elements. So, you know, the table of elements, the TOE, put your toe in it, toe to toe. It's fucking way up there. All right. And I've been in guitarist in bands and other bands. Every band is, it's like heavy metal bands don't do it as much, but like rappers do. Rappers are going to tell you, I'm the best. You come see us, we're the best, man. They ain't going to say they suck at all. They're not going to fucking be humble at all. And that's what I grew up around, rap in DC. And but heavy metal and punk had a bit of a offshoot scene in the 80s from that. And they were still very cocky too. And the best heavy metal bands always had competition in the fucking band, in the band. Like they loved and hated each other. They tried to outplay each other. They tried to out solo each other. And I think we're doing a healthy thing here in the Chase with that too. We're trying to outdo each other and all that. But in bands, like people with money and whatever to put into it, or people who came in with other reasons that people paid attention to them besides playing, besides having content, they would get a lot of attention and it would hurt the scene. But this is like different. This is like Trump versus Biden and shit. This fucking politics and world and pandemic shit all mixed into one. I think everybody fucking lies now. Like everybody just fucking lies. Like, you know, the hell? What the hell are we going to do, man? I don't know, man. I'm not going to tell you to believe me. Okay. I'm just going to say, well, it looks like this, you know. I'm going to be humble like a fucking asshole. Actually, I told the girlfriend, like, can you tell? Because she's kind of watching this too. Can you tell that I'm actually being very humble for what is going on? Yeah. And she said she thinks I have the solve. It's not just because of to make me happy or just false belief or whatever. We did this for years. The cipher she's been watching, she hasn't seen any other cipher. She told me it's going to take a better cipher to beat that. But anyway, so I'm just looking amazed how long it's taking. And I can tell you, we're going to go through this a lot longer if we keep following demagogues. Socrates said that we should not have democracy for one reason and one reason only, that democracy would work most of the time, just about all the time, for a top position or whatever. And they knew this, 2,500 years ago. And Socrates was put to death for saying his opinions on many things about the Senate and in Rome. Or no. Well, fuck, I should know this. Athens. So here we go. And do I keep trying to get around this? A holding pattern. It will run out. The one thing I want to point out about the K-Cow breaking news for tomorrow is that it seems that the original Condor Reddit Jack is now being replaced by another facet of the same story, right? It's not going to be the exact same story. It's another facet. And so to believe it's Jack, the thing is, I'm 50-50, honestly. I think it could be Jack. It does seem that way. Other times I don't know, because so many fucking people fake, and they fake the same person over and over again. Bad sources keep faking the person, and she keeps getting forgiven. Okay, man, I know love is blind. The thing is these rains have brought allergens, mold. The thing is theory that Jack framed himself as the finder. I don't know. I'm 50-50 on whether Forrest did put him up to it, but he never said his name. And the people him and Jack sitting at the table could have been Jack interviewing him. That interview is probably buried somewhere now, never to come out now that Jack is framing himself as finder. You need the solve and you need details. And you do not blindly believe somebody without that. And we get to know Jack is the Condor, but then we don't get the necessary information and why it matters that he's the Condor. So it has to go, it's going to have to graduate from that tomorrow night. I'll be happy if it does for them. I'll be happy they have that information. Dan is very seriously, this seems to have connections. I'm pretty sure he's meaningful in this with connections. So there are maybe Dan's camp, and then there's Cynthia with some production people or something. I'm not even sure, though, threatening Indy to be cut from the production seems like a power play that somebody that knows they're cool with a producer waiting and all that wouldn't do. You're not going to freak out on Indy and fucking go off like that if you've got the calm and cool and collection of potential big bucks in movies or something like that from the chase. Jack could show pictures of him holding the treasure chest, the hiding place. We would all go away. So I'm careful not to say all Jack has to do is this, right? Because, well, last year I definitely discouraged people from doing that because I thought back then by fall or whatever, the end of the year, they would come up with something. They didn't. He did not come up with anything. Instead, other people are doing this. I suppose the solve is the one thing I would believe from Jack. I will have to hold myself to that claim. And he could do it. Jack could come out with a 12-bit cipher instead of my 8-bit. He could easily shut me the fuck up with like a 9-character cipher that says something like ablaze and something like wise that are synonymous. It hasn't happened. And all I see is that I have to keep fucking getting blocked and people have to keep writing and creating on YouTube. And it's fun a lot of times, but you know, what happens is we just fucking, oh, there's people that are mental shit. I'm in a very strange position with all this. It's like I have to see it out. I don't normally do that. People give me shit in my land, I move on. This is the United States. Are we reaching? Can you hear me? Okay, now. Okay, good. Good. This is the United States and we're reaching. Except we're not reaching with bullshit. We're reaching for Wi-Fi. Tell you, man, the Gov doesn't like me. Yeah, right. I don't blame the Gov for shit. The only thing Gov does is in election years. In election years, you're getting bullshit from the Gov. That's when you're getting when it's stacked high. You need big boots for that. So I gotta type something here. Give me 100 seconds to take a leak, man. Maybe I'll talk if I think something. All right, folks. I'm back. All right. Oh, let's see. See, I'm too unsure of myself to even talk about my solve all the time. Like, I'm not. I feel funny because I have to actually try to analyze other people's things that they're doing in here, especially if it seems like they're steering this the wrong way. I will be patient and see what I hear tomorrow. But if it's only a reinforcement of Jack Condor Reddit, then I'm going to be disappointed. I really want a direction. Dan said this is significant, and I asked him if it was groundbreaking. He didn't say exactly that it was. Brian, I'm not going to post the end of the solve until later. It really is the last 1/3 of it. The first 2/3 is a really interesting evidentiary bit where things confirm each other 2 to 4 times over. The last part is only based off of the first 2/3 and not as confirming. It does happen to have some things that work really well. And I cannot find a better ending to my own solve than the one I have. And I did stop 2.5, maybe 3 years, 2.5 years ago on it. No, I didn't see your comment about Dan. What was it? If you could type that in there. If you see, do you see Zoom on my feed here? Does it say Zoom in the lower right? So I'd love to have people talk. Brian, I did not see your comment. I don't think they're going to have as great of a thing tomorrow as they say. Wait. If you already put that comment up, I'll read it. I'll go back. It's the one where, just like the pictures of Dan Barbarisi, he's touching the chest as to present it, not holding it, and not one picture of him holding the treasure. Okay, yeah. I had read that as Jack. Okay, that's true. So Dan got in there and got pictures. That is why. Okay, lawyers have it. It's not in probate or the estate. It's not apparently with Jack. So we've already asked this question. I'm just going to say again, what I think happened is Fenn pulled the box, just like he suggested he would do to Dale months before that. Jack came in as hired good press, posthumous writer, whatever, and took the opportunity with a meeting in the office with him at a table with Fenn and the box and the gold and none of the jewels or whatever, carvings and unique items except the bracelet. And took the opportunity after Forrest died to show the pictures and frame this as if he's the finder. And I'm saying Jack scammed this. And I'm not scared to say it. I need evidence of that. Jack should be able to release a solve better than mine at any time. I'm waiting, and I will accredit, I will give credence to a better solve. It should be easy to do. I'd be very happy to see it. Nobody would be more delighted to be wrong. Well, some might be, but I could take it pretty well. I would love it. It would just, I'd be able to quit. I would quit this. But instead, we have to sit here and fucking go around and round with people, and everybody wants to be important. Meanwhile, I'm unsure of myself. Okay. And I like being the underdog. Fun. I like this. Live bands used to do this to each other in the scene. Somebody would get a windfall or get a major backer. Whether the band sucked or not, they would get a major backer. They could probably buy a few good members, some singer or whatever, and crush everybody with massive wattage of PA and sound and lighting. And it's the way this looks now. It's this crushing thing where you run a site and block people and then do videos, and I can't believe it. It's actually getting cold. Wow. I'm confused as to why the lawyers haven't been approached by any media to at least have a brief statement, but nothing from any of them. That's cool. Yep. I think they've been approached, but there's something that turns them away at the door or something. They're probably sifted through to see who's going to play ball in a certain way. And the lawyers, 3 lawyers for one thing, seems to me like it's to be turnkey, 3 keys, 3 votes, 2 out of 3 always wins. And it kind of like in a trust where there's members that have to, at least 2 have to agree on something to withdraw money or whatever like that. It'd be really neat if actually looking for the solve. If that's the case, I think they'd want to be quiet about that. They'd want Solver to sign an NDA. I guess if I go away really fast, no, I don't think so. If anything, if there's any of that, I'd be pegged as a person who couldn't be trusted by a narrative or an NDA. And but lawyers approached by media. Yeah. And Dan not shown holding the chest. So I mean, what is the lawyer's office? A museum? Do they just go in there by museum by appointment? You know, would have been badass. Brutal truth if you had said, "Let me see the treasure," and got pictures. That'd be neat because I know you would tell us what you think about that. I think you give good assessment things. I really do about solves and the chase and whatever. It's neat that you found that, and I do enjoy the research. I think we're going to be able to make moves after tomorrow night based on what we hear. Okay, so leading people who give information or whatever it is are going to tell us something, and then we can walk away with an opinion. I would love if they could blow us away with something good. I will email Calazars and Kpro and tell them good job. I'll tell Dan, hey, very smart to get with them on that, whatever. Don't think I'm going to be doing that. I will, though, if it's warranted. This is fucking crazy. If I'm talking live, then obviously I'm a little stirred up. I don't just do this shit. I don't just like the sound of my own voice. This is I don't know. I think if other people had a cipher, they'd shout it from the rooftops. It would probably be a lot more deafening and sickening than the way I do it. Then again, maybe I make it sick too. I don't know. But it's, I guess, their word versus mine on this shit. And I keep getting told, but you don't have the box or the blessings of Fenn or Jack. Well, I don't know. Fenn didn't bless Jack, apparently, by name. Fenn didn't bless Jack himself, so how the fuck do we know? Oh, it's not seekers, it's hunters. I got you, man. Okay, I got you. Okay. But, so, I mean, but the way Bear treated me a little while ago was like, oh, so you have the solve. He's the solve for the sake of argument or whatever. Okay, whatever. Condescending, and it was a little bit insulting. But Fenn never said you have the solve. You don't have the box. And I'm like, neither does Jack. Doesn't have the box, and he doesn't have the fucking solve. Okay? So there. The fuck you got, man? I got a cipher. There we are. And then he's like, the cipher, it doesn't say cipher in that inner cover flap. I'm like, yes, it does. It fucking says it. Susie told us. And then I'm like, holy shit, this backs my work. That's fucking amazing to me. But there's a reason that's not news. And it's because it's not somebody else's idea. It's not a rooftop screamer, that fucking shoves bullshit down your throat. And I'm cool with that. And like I said, I'd be allowed on that show if they had real news. They don't want to rub it in my face. But I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed. That's why I can accurately predict that this is going to be 2-0 burgers. Like, it's going to be a big plate, and it's going to be a good air burger. And the nutrients, I'm not sure what it's going to have. Some nitrogen and oxygen. But if the info proves that Jack is not the right person, or just gives some good evidence, I'll be really happy. I'll be delighted. But that doesn't quite help, because if they still know who the person is and don't say it, why the fuck not? Why can't you? Did you already invest too much against this actual solver by blocking him? I gotta ask, is that what it is? Is it, why would somebody, I'm pretty sure if there was a real solver that these content creators dissed, I'm sure they would just go, hey man, we were wrong or whatever. Will you be on the show? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe in my case, that's just not so. I think it could be bad blood. I like to call it old blood, but I don't know. Don't know how it's possible to be the underdog. I guess if we can't pass around guitars and plug them in and have a practice or something, then I guess I can be an underdog with a cipher. I don't know. But solves are not a democracy Joshua Bell, the great violinist, said that music is not a democracy. And what it means is that one composer writes the score, and then one conductor conducts the symphony, and you listen to them. You don't fucking go, well, I'm going to solo here off the manuscript and do my own thing. It's not a democracy in music because you have to follow written patterns and whatever. Now, jam bands and electric rock and metal can be free form, and jazz and whatever too, but it still is within constraints of training and people who can solo, and they're known to be able to. And so it's not a democracy, and neither is the chase. The chase does have to end up with one person. It's not two people at one time. It's the chase ends with one. There were not when Fenn said toe to toe, and can you dip your toe in it? TOE, table of elements. Davio loved that when I dropped that on him. He's like, fucking A, man. But so the TOE seems to me a year and a half ago, or a year and 2 months, to indicate that Fenn was saying two people were in the elements toe to toe. Two people are in the elements solve and close. And that's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. He was telling me this. I mean, it's what it told me. He wasn't addressing me directly. It was the whole community. But what I gather is the TOE is the table of elements. It's toe to toe. It's you and somebody else. And I'm like, really, dude? Seriously. And I have to write a funky little poem about toenails and what they do, right? No, I didn't, man. I swatted that aside. That's not going to happen. And that's not what this was about. This chase is about somebody solving your shit that you said would earn it. And I don't give a fuck about what anybody else says, man. It's about earning this shit and not these games, okay? And toe to toe as a fucking put off, as a delay, as a stall, as a switcheroo, it ain't gonna do. Nobody was in the elements doing the same thing. I couldn't even fucking do. I broke the cipher 5 years ago, in July. I mean, 5 years and a few days ago. And I tell you what, it took me another year and a half, or 2.5 more years to get that shit. And nobody else was in there. It wasn't. It doesn't matter if they hacked my cipher or what. They weren't. There's so many other things. I found that cipher in the middle. And then he says you can't start in the middle and all that. So I had to like reverse engineer this thing, and finally did. And there weren't two people toe to toe. Get the fuck out of here. You're crazy, Fenn, trying to tell me that shit. Hope you're alive to hear this. It'd be neat if you did fake your death, man. Bravo. But when I saw toe to toe, table of elements to table of elements, I said, bullshit. Bullshit. Come on. I knew what was coming. You know what was coming when I heard that? Every fucking great opportunity that passed me by, every raw deal, every little thing, it just sounded the same as that. And I'm like, here we go. Here we go. And now I still see these people bullshitting about Jack and all that. And it's like, here we go. We keep going, man. Just keep spinning around and around, kind of like my Wi-Fi does sometimes, the wheel. Here's some breaking news. Wait a minute. Jack. So Ben made the comment about Jack last night. He said he was always Team Jack, but after the info, he wasn't for sure. So does that mean the info they have proves Jack is not the right person? Okay, I did read that. Okay. Breaking news. I've only shared with 2 people the picture of Dan Barber-Reese presenting the chest. Take a very good look at the chest lid. Inside of it being presented, you'll see a picture of an individual. Who's who? Wow, what does the picture look like? That's good work. Good eye. Good to see that. I'm curious. What does it look like? I would love to know. Damn, I wish this thing had opened in Zoom. I would, man, in a heartbeat be letting people on. I wouldn't even care if they said, I hate your fucking guts. I'd be like, come on, man. Why not? I don't think anybody hates my fucking guts. I don't hate anybody. I don't know. We'll have to see. Why would they? What have I done? This thing, though, this whole thing, why do they have to take it? Why does it have to keep? Why do a bunch of people try to agree on Yellowstone and Seven Fingers and whatever springs? And even though they had their own areas all over, not just Wyoming, but other states, now they're all in Yellowstone together. The people who we thought were insiders, why do they all agree? Isn't that bizarre? I mean, money has generally, unless you pass out pieces from the box that are missing, and then you give people untaxable gold or gemstone items or rare Aztec carvings or a ring or a fucking couple of watches or whatever else wasn't there. And how about summoning the olive jar biography? Nobody thought of that. That biography has his honest thoughts from 11 or more years ago, wouldn't it? So Barber-Reese's holding a picture. I'm going to look it up. And, all right. Hang on, folks. What's up here? All right. Barbar the elephant. Okay. Let's look up Forrest Fenn. Let's look up Barber-Reese chest photos. Barber-Reese. So the Barbers, the ancient Roman name there, traces way back. Smart, fast-talking guy. I mean, no question about that. I don't know why there are so many super smart and rich people. He's not rich, I don't think, but why? I think Jack might have been rich already, maybe an investing thing. Somebody had an interesting theory. He bought the location or something like that. And that's pretty neat. Okay, so images, Forrest Fenn, Barber-Reese chest photos. I'm going to look in there. And Barber-Reese chest photo. In the lid, CBS News. A picture of an individual as if photoshopped, or is it a reflection? What do you mean? I need to find that. And what the fuck? And probably spinning. Okay, let's see here. I'm zooming in. Okay, I don't see the lid in that one. Whoops, let's keep going here. Whoops, no. All right, shit's not working. Okay, get this fucking video out of here. Yep, this is taking a lot of bandwidth. So Photoshop by whom? It seems to me like Jack and Dan did all this. Like I said, they may have framed this for themselves. I'm still looking for the... Okay. There he is, standing there with the box. With the lid open, hand down on the lid. Let's go ahead and zoom in there. Yes. Okay. Save that and blow it up. And come on. Swear, man, this streaming takes some freaking bandwidth. All right, saved. Hey, I got a question. What if Quaz was one of us? Quaz, my impersonator? That's funny. Anyway, let's see. Dan, there you are. Okay, and yeah, moving slow here. Let's get this. All right, the picture is coming up. I am going to zoom in. Okay, it's a picture in brown or something. It looks like an alligator head with nostrils or something. I don't really see a person. If that's the right photo. He is touching the chest with gloves in this picture. And that's more than Jack did. Well, I see this thing with big nostrils, like flared, like a alligator. Okay, once you see it, and it's the one where he's touching it with gloves. I mean, I will look for other photos. I don't see I just see one of Dan touching the box on the table. Conference room table. There's another one of him holding the box open further away. Let's save and blow that up. So sorry, the basic YouTube thing doesn't share. I can't seem to share a desktop or photo or anything. So I don't know. Let's zoom in on that then. And we will. So further away, showing Dan, lid open, directly facing camera. Maybe the photo hasn't completely loaded, but it looks like the middle square didn't load or something on that picture correctly. That's my low bandwidth. Damn government blocking me. Well, let's see if that'll... okay, I see eyes. There's a forehead. There's a parted hair. Slightly parted hair. It's prominent. You're right about that. It is in the brown sepia tones of the... I see it better with the pic of him holding the gold disc above it. let's go ahead there. Let's find that gold disc above it. Okay, don't see that. Gold disc. I only have 2 pictures of Dan with the box. Oh, man. Gold disc above it. Yeah, the amount of things missing too from the box. I don't fucking get it. All right. Yeah, there's this weird square or rectangle just below the bottom half, just in the eyes of this face that you see. It's a big face. The head is probably about the size, almost the size of his in the photo. There's a rectangle blocking most of it, and it looks like a load error or something like that. I don't see who it is. It's a dark-eyed person. Oh, the fuck, man. Okay. That one is closer. It's probably going to work better. There is a face. Maybe like Edgar Allan Poe looking face. It's interesting to me. Why all the crypticism? Why does it have to be cryptic to no end? You know, what is the... It's stalling, right? It's got to be a stalling tactic. What are they? And they're protecting the solver, right? I don't get that. If you want to protect the solver, give him some fucking money, man. He can get security himself. You know? That's what I think. You give me 500 grand, I'll protect myself just fine. I'll make a game out of it. It'll be fun. So I've asked for high resolution pictures from Dan. He said he doesn't own the rights to them. The publishing company does. The publishing company. Pictures of him? Or is the box copyrighted? That's a good question. Yeah. I don't know, man. Where's my munchie? If you gotta maybe say things without directly saying them, then they'll just get sued more or whatever. But I don't even get the lawsuits. But you know what? I gotta say, if they're gonna tell me that Jack only came out because of the lawsuits, then I have to say they must be working. The lawsuits must be working. Can't seem to get that photo to work on that closer picture. I will try to download that again. Actually, it's the further away picture of him holding the whoops. Oops, up. All right, folks. I'm trying. Grief. Oh. All right. Well, apparently this one's showing. Okay, handlebar mustache, wide face, dark hair and eyes like the Edgar Allan Poe t-shirt photo. I will save this again. Maybe it'll do it right. Handlebar mustache is prominent. Looks to me like that. Let's open this again. Yeah, it's stalling to not share the closer pictures of whatever. They don't want anybody to get in too close or specific, you know. If they could use a satellite view at 200 feet, I'm sure they would. Okay, this picture here. Oh, okay. It loaded it without the square missing. Okay, it's somebody with a good sized chin and neck and short but thick crop of dark hair. Kind of like Dan's hair, but a little fluffier, slightly longer. Maybe a white mustache and beard. Colonel Sanders with a fro. There's another little face inside of that, or two, looking at each other opposite. I'm wondering why that's there. Who does all this? Why do they have to be so cryptic? Like I said, they're protecting Solver. Just give them money; they'll protect themselves. All I see is people protecting wealth, keeping it away from everybody. Yeah, I will pull a Photoshop analysis on that with color, deepen it, contrast, flare the color a little bit, maybe distinguish the browns. So we're talking about photo. Brian turned me on to find a photo of Dan Barbarisi holding the lid open of the chest, and you see a face in the inside of the lid. It looks like a wide-faced person with perhaps white facial hair, fluffy crop of dark hair, sunken eyes. I'm not sure why. You've totally derailed me, and I love it because it's like, oh, wow, I see it even better this time. It looks like Jack. It has the nose. It looks a little like Jack Stoof, but also the face not only turns one way to its left a little bit, but it turns straight on at you. It has two dimensions in it, like painting eyes that move with you in a painting. If Fenn wants to toy with works of art in his chase, he could just show his solve. Maybe I'm just doing this the wrong way. I don't know. That's interesting. I wish I could. Levi, what's going on, man? Hello. Talking about a photo of Dan Barbarisi holding the lid open to the chest. He has two photos on the internet. We're looking at the further away one. He's sitting there looking straight on from it in the middle of the picture, kind of far across the table. Looks like an Edgar Allan Poe person. Maybe sometimes you kind of see this neck or some look like Lou Ferrigno, sort of, or what's up, man? We're just vegging out. You find that picture, so you do Forrest Fenn in quotes. You look up, type in Barbarisi, you type in photo, chest, treasure, whatever, and you can see aberrations. We were talking about aberrations in pictures and spirit world and all that earlier, Levi. So you look at you can see one of them faces in it that do different things. And I told Bill Gorman that his art, last night I told him, your artwork has all these faces in it that seem like things I've photographed, like spirits or whatever, or aberrations of camera with the sunlight. It gets a little nip of light directly in it, and it does all this shit. It just explodes. But yeah, he sees the spirit or something. I don't know. But I think Jack, Dan, I don't know. I think Forrest did not like Solver. And I sure wish the breaking news was like who it actually fucking was. You know? That'd be nice. I'd love to see it. And probably, I'm rambling, man. I'll go on a little longer, but yeah, I will. I'll stay up on this till at least 30, 40 more. But I do have to talk about things. I don't have my own agenda or plan. I don't know. I don't want to bore people with ciphers and all that. Keep getting a lot of shit about it, that's for sure. I asked Bear, why the fuck are we still doing this if you won't see the next clue that was found in the cipher? And I realize people have to be kind of settled where they are in this, to be, perpetual debunker. I get it. It's fine. But tomorrow night, I don't think we're going to get much. I mean, you realize what it would take, the kind of information it would take for people to say, well, I'm happy now. I can walk away from the chase. I don't think anybody will really walk away. I think a lot of people will still bullshit around, be friends, have fun, party, have chat rooms, whatever. But the kind of information it would take for people to walk away would be overwhelming evidence. It would be where you can't deny it. And I simply cannot see how that is possible. If they can't do that with a cipher, which beat out the no ciphers comment 3-1, then I can't see how we're going to ever have resolution in this. If anybody wants to type how they think this could be resolved, the number one way, think it out. Before you say, if Jack would just hold the chest, think it out, because that could probably be arranged. They could probably come up with a picture of Jack holding the chest or something. That could be arranged, but think of something that can't just be faked. What is something in the chase that cannot be faked, that would have you believing? Shoot, man, let me know. Let us know. What is criteria for you in the chase that satisfies your questioning? Some people have questioning that's light-handed. Others are moderate. And yet others like Bear will not take answers that seem to be good and say that it's anything. And that's just, I don't know why the fuck people still do this if nothing is good enough. I guess they're looking for themselves to be the answer. All I'm looking is somebody ending this. Do it better than me, man. End it. Don't let me end it. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm a fucking just a regular dude. I don't know. I'm not trying to be a great critic. Fucking turning into one lately. But yeah, Bear does seem to get very unsettled at lines of thinking that are going somewhere, and he tries to derail it. And he uses the same set of statements about every single thing he looks at. And that's just not possible. I would have to craft different critiques for different people and answers and go from there. And I will say, we're not all 4-year-olds. Not everybody is beautiful and gets a gold star. We're adults, winners, losers. Well, really, there's one winner or one solve in this, and then there's a lot of great people that attempted and fucking had memories and a good time and love each other or hate each other or whatever in the chase. They're just, it goes on and on. We're all friends by now. No matter what anybody says about other people, they're still going to get along one day. They're going to get along because they're going to be in the same boat. There's going to be nowhere left to run. That I do predict with accuracy. So they're still scrambling to figure out how to hit a home run with their own solve. That is true. That is true. Everybody wants their own touch on this. They're not letting it go. It's been 14 months nearly, and it's probably not going to be let down with your solve is wrong or whatever like that. People aren't going to do it. A selfie with Jack and the chest, that would do it for most of us. Then worry about the solve one step at a time. Sure, we start small. Do we have anything yet? I mean, it didn't come from Fenn, just that there's a mysterious finder from back east. But that's not Michigan, where he's from. Maybe he was in New York or Philadelphia at the time. I don't know. Philadelphia seems to be a thing. It's weird. Georgetown is where Jack went to school. I was born there. That's odd. And then there's, sure, people go there, but, and then the Leaf, scrapbook 213 about a leaf getting shoved into a book, not to be seen till some later time. Okay. Right. All right. Mm-hmm. Games and waiting. Fenn got very malicious in his last scrapbooks. Very had this vengeance, man. Had this violence kind of in the scrapbooks, in the words. Ypsilanti. He's from Ypsilanti. Good Michigan boy, like Iggy Pop. Iggy Pop from Ypsilanti. Never been to that town exactly, but I've been all up through there, around. So a selfie with Jack, that could do it one step at a time. I think some conclusion is imminent. Some will wake up to the fact that there's something for everyone that's willing to go balls out. Imminent. I don't know how soon. I don't know. So like tomorrow night could make or break a lot of things. I don't know. with the K-Pro drop, break the internet. We're going to do it this time. Breaking news. They're crowd searching solves. Why? See, what do you think about another theory I had? I hate theories, man, but they're mine, so we have to listen. But what do you think if the hoteliers and the tourism industry in West Yellowstone, Montana, in the neighborhood of this western part of Yellowstone, what do you think if they offered some money to a few people to come up with the best solve for the place, get something they can't deny? Somebody else says, we'll do the movie if you can do that, and it'll all fall together. And they're really doing this, and they're really frustrated with anybody that has the real solve. They're frustrated with deniers of them, and they're going to deny and steamroll and try to just munch over everything. And now all the supposed insiders are all converging on that. And it's funny. They all had their own places, man. Other states, other parts of Wyoming. Even Mike was over on the Bighorns, and he doesn't seem as adamant on this. He's staying a little bit back. He looks at her when she talks about it. So why did they fucking all converge here? There's tourism, or there's some money. Where's the money coming from? It's not the lawyers, I don't think. I don't. Then again, I did also predict that Fenn may very well have put out 8 figures, neighborhood of 14 million, to make a narrative, make a record, set it in stone, right or wrong, maybe to deny Solver. Not sure on that. Feels like it, kind of like if no Solver is allowed to be right, you know. Crowd searching solves, though. Good one. You've had some great questions, dude. That's a good one. K-Pro has nothing to do with it. Candy was fairly adamant that K-Pro's not an insider and with us and all this, but she blocks people. It's Thor is now down to this thing. You go look at Thor, right? And people kind of love hearing themselves think out loud. They're not assertive in clues. Nobody ever wants to touch a clue. Nobody will ever. It's almost as if you have a clue, they won't talk about, that might be a clue, but I'm going to go find it my way. I need to find something else. I'll go around this motherfucker with clues that has clues. I'll go around it all and I'll do it. It's me, right? You know, I don't know. If a real Wyoming solve is ever to become the public solve, it won't be Yellowstone National Park. I don't see how it could be. I just don't see it, but they could. They might. I wonder if some team is sitting there like, we got to find a better relative solve than a cipher or something really locked into the poem and books, just flashing between the book and the poem and the map and all that. The map has a really fucking incredible two things on it that lock into what I'm doing. It's really, the map has one thing on it that could take you to one place if you just look at it. And it's not Powell, Wyoming. Powell is missing on the map. It's just a circle with no word. Normally, a town that size would be listed on the maps, not there. And Powell wrote the exploration of the Colorado River and its canyons, and it has entries by date. And in the poem, you have a date of 10, or you have a date of 6. You have FTJ running down the capital letters, which can look like 610 or 620 2010, right? And in my solve, that does do something. And when you go to the Powell book, the June 20 entry fucking has the place. I had the place before I saw that entry, and then the entry was right there within a few miles. It's really amazing. I saw that and I'm like, am I off by a few miles? Because I was kind of like, there's no way it's not this. Drama is what I was told. Half are still here and a lot have disappeared or maybe lurking. Illinois Ghost. Yeah, he's been gone. Sean Dotson, I'm not familiar with. Jason and Sasha Dent. Yep, I have not seen them. Dale has been very quiet. That's true. You really think they walked away? Like, did they just go, I'm not interested, or I don't want to? Maybe they just don't want to deal with the public. I understand that. When the real solve comes to the surface, it will be undeniable. True, to most of us, or some of us, it will be undeniable. I think most people will still deny it. They will find a way, like Bear did to me earlier. So there's a fingerprint, not in Wyoming. That's it. But since Fenn and someone decided that it was Wyoming, there may be a parallel decoy solved for Jackie. Well, in the Wikipedia term, you can look it up, encryption or deniable encryption. If you look that up, it details how in wartime or spying, there's a text that can be deciphered in different ways in case the enemy captures you. They can go through and instead of torturing you, feel like they're getting somewhere, and it buys you time for perhaps a rescue or snag mission or something like that. And something about what if you're kidnapped or whatever did come up in a Forrest quote. I don't know the exact one, but if they had to lie about Wyoming, why is it? Why is that? It's maybe leniency, conservative state, less tax, lenient, going along with the cowboy plan, something like that. Colorado is probably a little too liberal for Fenn or whoever. Taxes, I don't know. It could be something like that. New Mexico and Colorado being liberal, Wyoming and Montana being conservative, things like that. And of course, I have these huge theories on politics at the end of the chase. Election year, of course, when that transpired. Sean was on the Flip Side channel. I see that a few times. The real solve, though. Why is it such a big deal that you can't know who had it? It must be the old man had a plan, had some sort of plan. He instructed people of something. One of them's going to say it one day. If a few people know that he denied a solver, somebody's going to say it one day, maybe when the NDA runs out, and they're going to, I don't know, I would suggest one of them do it first, like on a commercial, everybody act fast. or it'll run out. When I was a kid, I'd go, well, if everybody acts fast, it's going to run out, or they're all going to jam the phone lines or something. But in this case, let's act fast because other people will tell the story of corruption and you'll be named instead of naming people, right? We could just get that over with. Maybe we're headed there, like Levi said, it's closing in, and I want to feel like that, man, for sure. We very well could be. Hey, I'm not beyond aliens. I'll talk about weird shit too, but Street, what's going on, man? Answers come from within. It could have been found in any of the 4 states, in my opinion. Well, actually, it, according to me, exists on paper. It's a paper only. It's a virtual beginning. And in my solve, it is going to be the decryption model that you're building. And to begin, it is they say the first clue. When I see that, I cringe because there are things that get you, there are preceding things that get you to that first clue. The first clue, and a clue, remember, is an answer, a single answer to many questions as it pertains to the chase. That's what a clue is. It's a single, easy to describe, or least common denominator answer of many questions, right? And so when you're beginning it, where warm waters halt, in my solve, it's hydrogen and it runs down to lithium, then beryllium, sodium, magnesium, calcium, rubidium, potassium, HLBNMCRK. They connect, they touch contiguously. So it follows that. And it does all this other stuff. It tells you 16 different ways that hydrogen is warm water's halt, or why, in my opinion, it is warm water's halt. So following that presumption, it seems to be the thing that you're building in a virtual way on paper, the armchair part. And that is just my angle on that. It could be something else completely. A lot of people, I think, see the it and the first clue because of what Fenn said about in Australia or something, or told an Australian that it was that first clue is warm water's halt line. It's not warm water's halt, it is the line beginning that. And there's a digital it, says Levi. That is one way to put it in my view. Brian, you've had some great input here, man. So if you need rest, I will carry on, sadly, but it's been damn cool. I understand about needing rest. I don't think the land is the issue, Street. I don't think the land is in question. However, I think there could be a dangerous feature. And I just don't see Jack as being overly worried about liability of land, or of a dangerous feature. It's not like, he just seems to be staying away from everything, every single thing. He is the person that has talked the most that I've ever heard in my life that said they're not going to give you anything or tell you anything. And Jack hasn't really spoken up in months, maybe. However, there are people saying, oh, I'm in Jack communication all the time. Oh, yeah, all the time we talk or whatever. Man, Come on, man. I got my blinders on. Everything is bullshit in this. Like, you know who's the least bullshitting people? I think angry people in this. I think anybody who's kind of mad about shit, they're really, the sex drive of lying is gone. They just don't want to. They're tired of it. They don't want to hear it from people. You know, so land, though. Land could be an issue. Begin it, take it. Figure it out. Figure out it. There's a spiritual it. There's a Stephen King it. It's good to chat, indeed. Thank you. Come again. Thank you. Come again. No, cool, man. Get some rest. As we gather, based on Dale's release of the email, Fenn did pull the chest, felt guilty, or felt maybe more like he needed to narrate this, called in the press, as in, like in Preston's Codex, I heard, I haven't read it, but I have seen a few people say he, in the book, the rich guy had a ghostwriter after his death or something like that. So I think Fenn followed that model and brought in Jack, who sat down and got pictures at the table, but not touching the chest. And at that meeting is where Jack found the accidental information that Fenn pulled the chest and was able to frame himself as solver after Forrest's death. And that's what I'm thinking. And it lets Forrest off the hook a lot, because he said there was a shy finder from back east. Michigan is not back east. That's where Jack's from, not an Atlantic state. Jack doesn't have the chest. He doesn't have a solve, and he never had Forrest mention his name. There are 4 main things here to look at. So, the it, man. I think IT is pretty good. IT is one of the ideas I had for it 5.5 years ago. Yeah. I do have to think on this. What does one do? It keeps us up at night, doesn't it? It keeps us up at night. What if Quaz was one of us? My impersonator, Quaz. I did the Bill laugh. That guilty laugh. No, I'm kidding. No, he's cool. Yeah, I see faces in his art. Trips me out. So I need to fill a bowl. I picked a little homegrown. Oh, where is that shit? Give me my shit, man. Give me my fucking shit. All right, so begin it where warm waters halt. So let's say it's hydrogen. At the top left of the elements, you take it in the canyon down. So you go right below hydrogen. That's where the L is, H to L. Not far, but too far to walk. Guess what the third letter in the cipher is? It's beryllium. It's B, HLB. Beryllium in the elements is the second column, the 4th element, and the second row 242. I swear to God, I can't make this shit up. But I think Fenn did. Those three right there spell gas. So from my point of view, I hope you see why I feel strongly about that. I think it could be that. It could be. But, you know, a lot of clues in this have a virtual or on paper meaning. And then a straightforward poem meaning. And then a lot of them have a third on the ground reference, because the whole idea is to, that's where I spent. So I had that cipher in 2016, July, 5 years ago. The leap from that cipher out of the poem and into some place took me all over the freaking map, all 4 states. I even did Utah. And that was a trip. Talk about haunted weirdness. It was one of the weirder places for sure. Canyonlands. And then I heard all about how that's a really rough place to camp, and it was. My lady did not like it there. And we got stuck in mud and all kinds of crap. But you have to find the answer inside you. It's good. We have to know, though, somehow for sure. People figured out the first clues. Fingerprint. The digital it is Dolores's fingerprint. I'm not familiar with that. Don't know which Dolores, unless it's a river. People figured out the first couple clues and walked right past the rest. That could be. An ace. They did not know where they were. Yeah, it's kind of like, no, it's not like martial arts. I can't seem to relate. The only great relation I can make is between live music scenes and the chase scene, where you have people with money or power or whatever that buy up all the wattage of sound and lighting and can present themselves in a big way. Whereas a smaller band, a small power trio might be the most ass-kicking band around, and they get smaller venues and, you know, still do okay, but they're not quite the sensationalist army or whatever. So we have a lot of that tribalism. And I don't really even know why there's a reason for tribalism, except that people start saying things. It goes back and forth. And it gets a little out of hand. And I understand, because people say things to each other and a lot of resentment. And there's really nowhere else to go. There's no other answer. If there were answers, people would confidently say, I don't need these other people at all. I don't care what they think or say or whatever. And, I mean, I don't know if I've gotten perfect answers enough to where, and I don't know if I did, would I walk away and go, oh man, fuck everybody or whatever? I probably wouldn't. I don't think anybody can walk away. It's a loop. We're stuck. There's a vicious cycle. Tomorrow's news, though, it better be good, man. It better be good. You know, even though I can't talk on any of her stuff anywhere at all, so I'll never be able to express that. But the weird thing is the 2 little places that I'm allowed, I know she looks into. And I'll write as if I know I'm being read on that. and I'll express myself, and I know it's heard, and I know that I'm building resentment in the other people that are steering the boat the wrong way. Because of the West Yellowstone hotelier that will pay for a good Wyoming Yellowstone solve near the town. Oh, y'all are typing a lot. Let's see here. I was just blabbing, just talking. Clues here. Don't know Mulva's sister, no. Ace of hearts or spades. Ace of canal. All right, Brian, get some sleep, man. We'll probably wrap up here soon anyway, but be on again another time. I bet you I might have something to say tomorrow about this shit. And here I am. You know, it takes a lot to get me talking sometimes, but when I do, I don't like to stop. No, you're not annoying, Levi, man. I love it, man. It's cool. It's all good. Well, let's see if I have a final thought here before I bail. And thanks for stopping by. Let's go all night. Whew, man. I mean, I could stay on here 30 more, walk in the other room, brush my teeth, whatever, talk. I don't know. But at some point I lose steam. It's late. Who do you think's watching? You think they're watching right now? What I think is there are some very logical people like Mike who've seen clues and things and decided to forego these minor formalities called clues and get taken and be participating in steering in the wrong direction. It takes something to know somebody, oh shit, somebody could be right, and then steamroll them and try to block them out and go in another direction. It's just one of those things, like I say in live music, you can't let people do. You can't let somebody derail or run the band or whatever. If you started the band or have a vision, you have to kind of hold that. And then there's these liars. I don't know. Is it lying? Well, I mean, in every way, it seems like you're either lying by omission, omitting things, or you're lying by creating content or lying about people that you don't like or whatever. It just, the honest people seem to be the angry people. The people come off, you're negative or you're angry all the time or whatever. I'm like, well, okay, I'm listening to them because they don't want to lie. They're done. They're not turned on by it, or they never did do it. They've just been brutally honest or whatever. It's been, when did this peak? I don't think it's still going to peak. I think maybe at tomorrow, if they can do that, if they can pull it off. So this guy, Dan, got with K Pro for months and been working on something. Why does it take months? Like, what do you have to do for months? I mean, you can have a 2-hour talk. If you're not planning something wrong. It doesn't take long to draw it all out. Like as in the attorney's office in Fenn Estate and all that, it doesn't take 14 months to draft something. I'm going to presume if it hasn't happened by now, it's not going to. Remember what I told you? This won't go anywhere. Remember last year I told you be a year and a half before anything. And that puts us around the end of this year. That I think it either needs to resolve or will resolve or can't resolve if it hasn't by then. And I'm reasonable and I could probably walk away. Seriously. And I just got, there are people who, luckily, I'm not under my name, real life name. There are people who I would not want to know that I am this fervent on this, and that all my studio equipment showed up a week ago, motherfuckers. And I'm about to, I have like 2 of everything. I have 5 guitars here now, 2 drum kits, 2 mixing boards, 400 pounds of fucking copper cabling, like 27 vintage microphones. I'm for real. I'm about to, this little shit I did on the drums and bass a few months ago was just a crack in the window. It's just a small opening. What I'm about to do is let in a bunch of light on my music career or whatever, which has not been special or whatever. I probably have more actual fans in that than in the Chase, but boy, it ain't many. And it's not like I could just sell 1,000 CDs or T-shirts each cycle. You know, it doesn't happen that way for me. I'm not that important. I'll bet people have already found out who I was and shit. It ain't all that, but I enjoy the fuck out of it. And music could make me walk away from this. I mean, I've walked away from women giving me trouble or whatever. I've gone 12 hours without eating when I'm recording. I totally fucking veg out on music and can totally get lost until I die. Like, 50 more years or whatever, if that is my lot in life. But so man, I wish I could have opened this up, Levi, with the Zoom. I asked Indy and she said you just open Zoom, signed in, and then you click on live on YouTube and it'll interface, and it didn't give me the Zoom thing in the bottom. I've been trying nothing but in the last 2 videos to try to do that, and I would have a table talk. Because you know what George Carlin said? They don't want fucking critical thinkers around a kitchen table thinking about the world because they might figure it out. That kind of thing. George Carlin, there's a shit. Boy, he sounds negative, right? But he's fucking right about shit. Negative, negative, if we're talking about voltage, negative is half of it. It's did you know the electrical ions flow from the negative in a battery? The power comes from the negative in the battery. The positive completes the loop, right? In Ohm's law. So, and I've known this since college. That was my major. So, why would they waste time, Levi? Why would they wait for something to surface? What is the what is the maturing factor? What is the thing that has to come of age? What is this thing that must wait? When people wait, and just got to wait, you got to trust us, just wait. And that's from the attorney camp. Just wait, It's because people are suing us. See what these people did? They're no good. They sue us. They don't get anywhere, but they made Jack come out. Okay, must have gotten somewhere that they actually did something like that. It's kind of like Ferguson and Baltimore rioting. What do riots accomplish? Well, in Ferguson and Baltimore, they fired all bad cops in city council and replaced everybody that more reflected the community. And now the community is probably, there's some of the freest places now where people don't just get frisked and planted with drugs and shit like that. I'll leave politics out of it, but I'm just saying, what does rioting accomplish, or what does unrest? Because we're in a state of unrest. We're not resting now. It's after midnight Mountain Time. I'm not resting. You're not resting. We're in a state of unrest. Is it anarchy? Well, yes. I said the nation was in a state of anarchy years ago. Years ago. I saw back during Obama, last 2 years, nobody would agree on anything, right? Nobody will agree. And you know what anarchy is? And when you're in a state of anarchy after having a two-party system for so long, that means you cannot reach 51% consensus on anything, or let's say 60-40, more of an undeniable, 60% is considered a landslide within millions of people voting or whatever. Anarchy is where you cannot reach consensus. So we are in a state of technical anarchy. It's not, anarchy is not just rioting. It's not just the lack of rulers or people who say they're the ruler or whatever. It is an actual disagreement among the people to agree to work together so they don't need leaders. That's what anarchy is. So we're in anarchy. And that's why there's a circle on my A in the leaf now. The secret cryptology of leaf. The Illuminati. No, I'm not any kind of Illuminati. They'd kick me out. I'm like Groucho Marx. I'd never be in a club. So they're fumbling, something brewing, fumbling the handling of that. And George Carlin, yeah, it makes a lot of sense, man. He really, I loved when he came out after the Iraq and Afghanistan invasions. He came out and he fucking just went off. I was like, holy shit, he's lost his mind. He's crazy and I love it. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. And then he dies at 69, dude. Come on. Lame. I wish he would have been around. If he could have lived to about 100, that would give people hell. Fucking, I'd enjoy that. So we got they're fumbling. Planned chaos. I don't think, I think the attorneys have planned something, or wherever this emanates from, the Bloombergs and the Soroses and the big money or whatever, the billionaires behind the chase, man, the world chase government. I think they try to plan things. I don't think they've been successful. I don't think they've chosen people who could do it. Jack and Dan seem the most effective to me. To write a book cover to cover, say it's done and put it out there and say we're the authority, that's good planning. That's directive, probably to a higher degree than I've seen since Fenn. Like I said last week, like K-Pro, they're the second in command camp here. They're like, I'm like last week on that video, I'm like, they're winning. They're winning. What are we going to do? Or do we have to do anything about it? Should we be alarmed? Why? I'm not alarmed because it's not me winning. I don't really care. I just feel like I might know a better version, and maybe they're steering it the wrong way. And maybe we need planned embroidery. Planned embroidery instead of chaos. I don't know. But maybe chaos is good, or embroidery. Maybe embroidery is like the worker, like the hard worker or whatever. And chaos is like the confuser or whatever, Loki running around kicking that box away. I think that meant a lot. Chaos and embroidery could very well have been the moment Forrest felt like he was being blackmailed. You know, could have been that. Blind leading the blind. I do believe that is blind leading the blind. So who is going to be the one-eyed king in the land of the blind? That would be the question. Or will they have a king? Is it anarchy to the point that they will not accept a leader after Fenn? They did the Palestinian run through the streets with the body, really sad about Fenn, and now there's no more leader allowed. There's nothing but just the united frustration and that could be something. And see, just like the toe-to-toe, I think the chaos and embroidery was another telegraphing by Fenn of two people in a high place. I'm not sure why Fenn wanted to keep telling the story that two people are. To me, that says he's ending it. It's kind of saying like it's going to end on you. You there, it's going to end, you idiot. I'm going to end it. I'm Fenn. I can end it, right? We shouldn't care. At other times in our lives, back when the world didn't lie much and it was more responsible or whatever the hell it was, or the money was there for the responsibility that you would do every day, there wasn't any of this. But more and more towards now, the entire world is getting to the breaking point of lies. Every household, every domestic, every city block, every town, every country, it's getting to this breaking point. I'm not sure. I don't think that ends up well. I think when all hope is lost against lies, I think it gets kind of rough for a while. So if we can look at the chase, like I said, for years is a microcosm of all these things, political and otherwise, all these things in our lives, our own relationships. The chase is the focal point. I told Fenn in so many words, because I knew he was reading blogs in this one place, I said, be careful, because there's a lot of hopes in this, not only of just enriching thyself, but there is a sense of justice abounding that must be fed. The justice will have to be fed. You can't go around the truth seeking. And I cautioned him in a light way, not heavy or anything. I just said, be careful with their emotions, because they won't leave. They won't walk away. This party will go on no matter what. I mean, it was the solver to do with as they please. That is true. And there's probably a $0 sum to that. And it's kind of like, the theory I said about 2 months ago. I was like, what if the poem is all you get, right? So the poem is not copyrighted. The solve's not copyrighted. It's just in the book. But, if you draw a mustache on a picture, you can get away with it as art. You can say you did it, you know. Um, Now you try to take Mars pictures that belong to NASA and do that. It's one thing versus, say, an artist who you drew on their work and they just laughed and said, "I love it." You know, it just depends on who it is. So Fenn could have been giving you the license to take a poem and copyright it, the solve or whatever. It could be his own design that you're copywriting. He's like, okay, I do that because I give you title to the gold. This gold is only a poem. You're only going to be known as the genius because you deciphered Mensa from it or whatever. Fenn thought I was a genius, you know, whatever. And then I give you title the gold. So that's why I jokingly said 2 months ago, this is my poem written by Forrest Fenn. It's called Gasoline, you know, kind of like that. And it shocked a couple people for a second, like, what? Oh, fuck, no. I got a title for it myself. And then we all got into it, and it was a fun game. But they, what pleases the solver? If the, I would say whoever is solver or me or anybody, they'd be happy that you know, that you like go, fucking A, I know this is a solve. We can carry on. We're friends. We're all going to talk about other shit now. It'd probably be a more comfortable time once we know we accept a solve and we get beyond that and then go like, let's all go camping or something. It's not going to be like this cheesy shit that what's her name's doing or whatever. We're going to go and fucking take shrooms and a bag and like stay away from the cliff, have a big fire, sneak in to a national whatever, sneak in, go in, kind of a mission, like fucking A, we're not supposed to stay overnight. There's no dispersed camping, but we're going to fucking go on a mission. We're going to go under the canopy of stars. We're going to quietly talk about shit right there with a crackling fire. Well, a fire could put everybody in jail, you know. You'd have to be really, I'd probably hike in a propane. No, I don't want to talk about all that shit. But I'll tell you what, fucking going to be a party, you know, for whatever purposes. Something where some spirituality, there's going to be a, I don't know. I think they're going to learn today. I think they're going to learn. You mean about later, about their news in less than 24 hours? They're going to do probably in about 20 hours. They're going to be well into it. True colors. Yeah. Yep. We're learning a life lesson. I just don't know if it is theirs to teach. We're not going to take their lesson and abide by it. We're learning our own. We're definitely learning that things are not free, apparently. We're learning that you have to put some spirit into your work. Find the poem, find his spirit, find what he meant. But the thing is, we have to make it mean something. It does have to mean something. Somebody is supposed to have a meaning here, a very high level. There's supposed to be some sort of meaning. Or maybe we think there's supposed to be, but there won't be. And we just have each other, man. We're just on a spaceship. The Earth has failed. We're out there floating out there, and we're going to Alpha Centauri first. Then we're going to check, or Proxima Centauri, then Alpha Centauri, and then the nearest stars, and then have to go to another system, or whatever. Endlessly drift. Santa Fe drift. Battlestar Fanatica. They, Levi, you got to know who they are, man. You know who they are. We can't say their name. They get so upset. They get so mad. They get, oh, my haters, my haters. And these people are going to be in court. And they won't be invited. Oh, the haters. You know, and people just plow on. It just fucking goes on and on like I am right now. But I don't really do this a lot lately. It's my second time. I was a virgin last week, man, until that stream, you know, as far as my own shit. But the Holy Grail, something eternal. I think that we want something eternal life. We're looking for solved Jesus. No, I'm kidding. In a way, we don't want solved Jesus. We want the party. We want the hellfire. We're all over the place. We want everything. Every different day, there's a different thing. It's based on either our own thoughts or other people. I just know that if I'm blocked on a channel where they're going to say we are going to break the internet and we have breaking news tomorrow, they should have lifted that block for me to either disagree or not disagree. Because if the news was great, they'd want me there. Want to have me congratulate them, because I would. They know I would. If they have something, they know I will congratulate them. No question about it. I am not too proud to do that. And will there be cake? And eaten too. Will there be cake tomorrow? Yes, but will it be eaten? I would say no more or less than ever before. What I'm fearful is that I really would feel bad and sorry for them if this turns into a reinforcement of Condor Reddit Jack. Because I really want tomorrow to see something unfurl onto us, to be thrust, just a big assembly to just get tossed on us. Catch, motherfuckers. But I don't see anything like that. I don't think anybody's feeding them good information. I think they're trying to just write history. And I agree about that. We do need to follow Forrest. He wrote the poem. Whatever he was in the last 3 years or 4 years, he was definitely honest about the chase 11 plus years ago, writing and drafting. The volume, not just the poem, the volume of work, everything that can fit in his written words. And of course, you know, I take value of the volume of deliberately written words that are copyrighted by Fenn and released into 3 books, specifically those 3, to mean everything compared to slip-ups and gaffes and blunders and things he says in person. It's vastly different. It's vastly different between live Fenn and planned Fenn. It is definitely a big difference. What pieces are falling into place, Levi? What exactly does it look like to you? Yeah, I've been seeing a lot about the Condor CIA thing. Condor kind of notes a person a high above in the plane or in the field of play that is well above everything, looking down with those strong bird eyes, just watching, flying way above, stratospheric searcher of meat and, carrion eating. And we are the CIA. They must have thought we're going to name it Condor because it's high above. Even though that one plane, as a code name, the fastest plane ever, like 50 years ago, is called Project Oxcart to make it sound slow. Things like that are funny. But Robert Redford. I would love Redford to be in on this shit. If this could be Redford's last great movie, even as a writer or something, it would be beautiful. That would be something. He would want to go out with a big Western mystery. I'm sure of that. Something that is just a huge mountain mystery. I don't know where he is on Forrest. I know Redford's got to be well into his 80s now. It is hard to say what's going to happen. What do you think will happen, though, Levi? What are the pieces falling into place? Something makes you think that, Something makes you think that. 3 days of the Condor with Redford. I'm not holding anything back, but sometimes I get thoughts and I forget them or something, and I'll think something and I want to think it out loud, but sometimes I think it'll change the planning of the people who might be a little less than truthful, and I don't want to help what they're doing. A lot of what I've been doing is just letting people do stuff without getting too agitated or jumping on and doing this. I don't know if it's going to be a regular thing. It might be once a week. It might just be in response or the follow-up to whatever these people do. The Inca Temple of the Condor. Like that badass movie where somebody hang glided between these Incan cliff dwellings. 70s movie or something. Yeah. South America. Yeah. Fenn had to be pretty confident that his work, his volume of work was going to be meaningful even after the treasure was found. One of the big main reasons, let's say people are doing sales and one of the main reasons that they would keep this going is to let some product and inventory run out, like books and t-shirts and board games and whatever it could be. But that would take the planning of multiple people who then would not keep secrets very well. We have to know if it's 2 or more people keeping a secret, that they are probably trusted, well paid, very inside, and benefiting to the point of an NDA or contract paying on the nose every 3 months reliably, and they would probably be adherent to that. But I just can't see in this day and age how too many people would, if they knew information, would not only try to take the NDA money, but also try to get cool with their friends or the crowd, or they'd insinuate things, semi-leak things. And I think we've seen some of that to where they've worked both sides. I think we're seeing it. That's probably a decent observation, that we are seeing them work both sides, and more so now that Forrest is gone. And it's not okay. So money, direct payment might not be it. It might just be that the battles started long ago and these people want to resolve the battles. There's another aspect to this too. Now, in Illuminati circles, it's the protection of wealth. Well, original Illuminati was the cross, right? The Crusades, and it was pretty much Southern European protection of knowledge and wealth, and church and hierarchy. But what Illuminatis have become now, or even after that, after the next period of, and then there's Freemasons that would build the cathedrals. They were the stonemasons. But then there's a later thing of like Galileo and others, Da Vinci perhaps, had societies that were probably more like things we would enjoy, things that where your Galileo has the lens. Hey, I have a lens, man. Who do I tell? You want to see this? Come on over. Okay, we know about the lens, but we're not going to let other people look through the telescope just yet. We can't just say that you can see Jupiter like 20 times better now, right? So we got to keep the lens a secret. And I think he discovered the lens through a drop of water. Something I think. But so Illuminati and Freemasonry has served different purposes. I would not say totally great or evil or anything. Just what it's become has been the protection of wealth and knowledge. And maybe the battle in the chase is just another battle between the haves and have-nots. You know, it's just another I mean, maybe it's just high up people going, "You peon fucking idiots. They're all idiots and I'm not. I'm in control. I am in control and you're not." And that's what they're doing. That is the game. That's it. If that's all, if they're doing this without getting paid, I have to say that is the most psychotic shit ever. I feel fucking psychotic for getting paid. Now, there's another take on that, right? I question my sanity on that. I feel like I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm kind of tired, but I have another wind of energy here, and I feel funny about just still talking. My throat's hurting, but that's the weather, the rain. But we've been typing some more here. So if it were, we'd have an answer. Yep, if it was money. Yeah, because they would take Fenn's money or whoever's to be secret. And they'd also try to act like they could make another buck on they'd start a no-name account and release the information and say, I'm a prominent person. I'll never tell you who I am, and I'm going to say this anyway, and it won't kill my NDA, right? So we would have an answer on that too. So thinking that people don't really know is a unique thing. Somebody knows. I've wondered if it was me. I question whether I know. At least I fucking question. I have pretty good information, and I question the shit out of whether I know. And I cannot say authoritatively many times confronted that I know perfectly well. So there's that. If the answer comes out from a person who they invested a lot of time and energy against, then I think it's going to look the way it's been looking. What's going to happen if the answer comes out, especially by who gives it to them? It's going to look a lot like the way it has. It's going to be what it's been. That's kind of one of the reasons I predict that we're never going to completely resolve. Resolution is for the monks and the masters and the philosophers. Philosophers won't allow themselves to resolve anything technically, but they can come to a deal of comfort in things and move on to the next ideas and something else big in life that might have an impact. They can definitely transition. A majority of souls are going to be really stuck for a long time. It might be a lifelong thing. And that's cruelty, and I don't know where that cruelty emanates from. I don't want to name names, but there are obvious forces of cruelty in this. And they're probably lucky that this isn't late 18th century France, early 19th century France. We have the luxury of thinking it out as long as we want. We have a great deal of luxury to do this pursuit. We get to endlessly, if we want, we can just wake and bake and lunch and trifle and kick around, go camp, look around again, just keep it going, get some work done in between or whatever most of the time, get some vacation time. We have a great deal of luxury. I wonder if that's going to end in America at some point. Like if all of this just cannot matter at some point, the decadence is up, the gig is up, the jig is up, whatever. And it's just, think about what we enjoy as Americans for a minute. I don't normally give this speech, but we do have the luxury based on a lot of previous shoulders we stood on. And here we are able to labor over a microcosm that means fucking nothing to like not even 1/100%, not even 1,000th of 1% of the population of the earth. And it's rewired our brains. It's just, I don't know if a spirituality or an intellectualism emerges or Illuminati. We have killer clowns on the left, roadie clowns on the right. And they're all clowns, right? I don't like to think of us as that, but I think I'm a little bit of a clown. I think people could go, "You fucking clown." I'll be like, fuck it. Be a clown. Be a clown and you'll never be down. This the answer will come out. I think so. Rosicrucians. You read a book in the early, God, 30 years ago. I think it came out in the late 80s. Masks of the Illuminati. And I read about all that shit because some older fellow, I'd say the top conspiracy theorist I ever knew in my life, a guy named Elmo, knew another guy named Bill. Top two seriously interesting background people. I know for sure they did something. They retired to art forms out in the country. They know stuff. They don't Facebook. They're all that kind of thing where they know what to trust and what not to trust. This guy handed me this book and was like, "Do this." I'm like, wow, that's a trip. I don't even know what's going on. I was college aged, but the books like that are made to be interesting. It'd be neat to release a book that says, this might be a boring read for many people, like the actual Fenn solve, but release a book and say, this might not be fun or great for anybody, but it has actual information in it if you look. Kind of like Fenn did with his books. There's real things in here. I'm not just talking about my life or whatever. Okay, this fan has to fuck off. It's fucking up my voice here. And some water. I need water. But you know, I think about the moment that I got the cipher sometimes, and I wonder where the fuck did that come from? I was sitting there in exile from a place for a reason. And I'm up there gathering my thoughts with trusted people. I wouldn't say on the run. I would just say safer for me in this new place. And I'm sitting there and I only have time for the poem. And I didn't even have books. I just copied it, started doing it. What was in my mind at that moment? It's like when I think back to maybe the best lead I've ever written or best lyrics or something like that. What was going on? It was always something that forced me into just that exact spot. Nothing else could have possibly happened at that moment. It just forced me right into rock bottom or something to make me come up and do it. And it had to be done. I had nothing else. And I actually thought I have to solve this because I need $1 million. I mean, it was like, I have to try this. It's like the only fucking thing out there. That's the only thing. I've wasted my life and I got to catch up, right? Man, how many people did that shit? Like, I got to catch up, man, on life. I need this fucking box, dude. Yeah. And then maybe it's solved and then you don't get that. And then you're like, oh, fuck, I have to learn a lesson. Shit. You know, like years later, I see that there's a lesson. But then I'm back and forth. I'm like, no, he just stole the fucking money back. or somebody scammed him or whatever. And by the time I've thought every thought, I realize how much further I'm getting from, I'm drifting. I'm drifting, man, and I'm questioning myself. And that's everybody should probably do that a little. Definitely. I wish some of these other hey, my computer's about to die. Hang on. I wish some of these other people would do that. Some of the people that have all the answers and the bi-weekly content, I wish they'd question themselves. I wish just once, instead of acting neutral, to okay, I'm charging now. All right. I don't know. Instead of, I wish they would question themselves. That would be great. Instead of questioning me or other people or whatever. So beat evil by greater evil much faster than good. It does look that way. What is evil, right? On the earth, you know what we're confined to in the animal kingdom? We've humans have transcended that, but knowledge in life seems to be what kills life. Size, too, of course, in extinctions, larger animals, but knowledge could be a great killer of advanced life. So, what is evil when you live on an earth where a big animal holds down a little animal, they lock eyes, and the little one gets eaten? That is a thing we live with. And when you look at religion and a lot of other things that try to make sense of the carnage, you see the hope and the dream that there's something better than that, than just being meat or having to eat meat. It really does come down to that. It really does come down to the hope that we're going to not be animals. Um, it's always somebody's big dream, and they spread that gospel that we're not going to be like the animals anymore. And the progression of religion from animism to education or whatever it may be. I don't really know what's right and wrong sometimes. I question if I know, but I do think I do know, and I do operate within knowing right and wrong. But I question everything that I think I know. I wish everybody would. I really do. Who controls the blaze? Who controls the blaze? We have to know what the blaze is. I mean, we would have to know. Um, you do, yeah, Levi. That you know, that's a wide approach to that. That could be everybody has that spark, that gasoline. Well, I think the poem has a wide meaning to where it can be philosophical or do things like that, but I think it had a very specific meaning as well. We must allow ourselves to narrow into the narrows into the specific meaning and retain our innocence of the poem needing to be a guide for life, as well as the narrow meaning of something that could even look like science or something like that, something that's not as spiritual feeling We have to be open to that too. He did try to write a work of art, and he did want to be remembered. And I think the poem, if it was encrypted, is a great step up to his immortality in that regard. Um, um, that personalization of finding your spot, man, your spot in out there somewhere that you visit, you go, and we'll never stop thinking about our spots. I guess the chase community is a great leopard with spots. It's like a leopard constellation, if there was one. And we all have our spots. We have our campfires in the constellation. We all have our points of light. I am respectful of everybody's points of light, to the point that I don't want to force certain things as much as other people, the liars or whoever, force things. I just sometimes wish I was louder. I don't know. And they weren't, but whatever. Why wish? Blaze Corporation. I want to name a new element Blazium. I love how the thoughts are just rolling along. This is good. You guys. Somewhere in violet. I don't know. Mayoral things in heaven. How do you get around that? How did he get around that rule? I don't know. Well, it's good if we end up, it's like a guy said, like, love, I found love to be in the solve, to be the answer. I says, finding love to be the answer in the solve, that can't be a bad thing. It's one of those things where you don't want to put down anything, or, you don't have great things to say because it doesn't connect with what you're doing or whatever, but you just say an obvious answer, love being found to be the answer, can't be a bad thing, and it does mean something. And spirituality, something specific as well. There's an art form that he did. We were all seeking gold. I mean, essentially, I guess anybody would look for gold for a minute or more if you tell them it's right outside or somewhere. You can take a drive, or if it's millions of dollars, take a flight. In a sense, we are really gold seeking. I mean, I don't think we're gold diggers. Well, no, some of them were that got next to him and dug up his ass and tried to play off of it or whatever. I took the opposite approach. I was like, I'll never, ever bother Forrest Fenn. Like, after years, I finally called him, and it was a 20-second phone call. And I emailed him about 6 times, about once a year before the search season or something. But we were all looking for gold. We all had an idea that it could be solved in an honest way, that the honest solver would be rewarded. Maybe we could be that person. Maybe there'd be no disappointment this time after so many times. It was, I don't know, that one saying that This is something all the poor people are in hell, the rich people go to heaven, everybody else works on earth, or something like that. It's a saying. Um, gold, gold. We're conquistadors, man. No, I don't know. We wouldn't hurt anybody. Most people wouldn't hurt anybody for gold. Most would not. Many would, I'm sure, not just a few. Most would not. Um, I don't think I was looking for gold. If I had to say it, in the time spent in this, I really was looking to see if I was a smart person that could figure it out and one day go, hey, raise my finger like, I think I got something here, you know, just kind of come in there and go, look at this. And then they all go, look at that. I had no idea it'd be like this. I didn't know. Back when I had the cipher, I thought, man, people will steal that, whatever. They'll run off that. They'll go search it. The internet will take it, Google, satellite, whatever. But then I realized quickly, 14 months ago almost, or no, 13 months ago when I released it, that they will not come running. And if somebody took the correct solve and made off with the box or something, that takes an incredible amount of trust in somebody else you don't know. I don't see those kinds of things unfold too often at all. I don't think I've seen anybody even borrow musical ideas from each other in a long time. People like to build their own little corral. They like to have their fenced area, and they like to say, you won't need me, I won't need you. These ideas, we're all going to be original writers of these solve songs, and we're going to not use each other. They won't even use a clue out of it. I mean, I know I've got things that are looking like clues. Not one person will. I used to have friends. I mean, I even knew people, if we were all doing this 30, 40 years ago, would have said, hey, man, I'm going to borrow that idea. Or they would just do it anyway and not tell you and do it. Friends really thought their ideas were worth something to each other. They would steal or smile or use an idea or ask you to use it. And now it's like this whole, I don't need nobody. I'm not going to help or be helped. It's weird. It's interesting. Maybe it was always there. Maybe it's just something I see in older life. Maybe it just becomes an older thing. Maybe younger was more innocent and nothing's really changed. It's just a generational age gap. I don't know. But I was looking for aliens probably 2008. Some really weird shit happened. I was telling you about that a while back. When I think about aliens, for some reason, I think about that moment, though, that the biggest ideas came as far as the deciphering the volume of work. And, I'd go out and ask the stars, ask the sky at night, sit on a rock, whatever, the wind's blowing, camping, whatever, tablet, working on the thing out there, living outside, I mean, on my feet. We only went in the van to sleep. We were outside on our feet the whole time. Um, she was bucket listing, thinking she's gonna die due to certain things. She actually got better, and I thank Fenn for her and I doing well together. I thank Forrest Fenn for the love of my life, who believes me. She believes me about things in this and is very curious about it. We did not grow apart due to it. It got sketchy at times, but it's mainly been close. And we survived together. We went through things. And I could be happy walking away from it, um, by her being there with me. We'd walk away from it together and know what we know, and wouldn't give a damn if anybody else did, as long as we have each other. Oh shit. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's mighty late. Mighty late. Um, you guys there? What if the aliens for gold? I said that interdimensionals and aliens were interested in our human games because they have to do with gold, and they need gold for their air processing facilities on their planet. I don't know. That's a story I heard since YouTube. I'd never heard that before then. I think YouTube is actually the phenomenon here that started the breakaway. What happens is a couple of their first videos are the most honest, and then it becomes a business. And it's like there's a meeting. We need content. We don't quite have enough. We need more ad revenue. And it becomes the business. And then it's lost its golden touch. And a lot of times it just loses it. It goes way, way off into this thing. Now, the musicians I know haven't done that. A lot of the musicians kind of just slowed down and burned out on it and realized, for a lot of people, it was a letdown. They put stuff out and it didn't get views and whatever, and they backed off or whatever, and don't have that love of it or the fire or the whole quest. I like the idea of an endless quest, but I also kind of hate it too. Um, am I getting jammed? Maybe I'm leaning too far over. I know if I lean a certain way in this chair, the Wi-Fi cuts out. Hey, we're 3 hours, 3 minutes, 33. I think I'm gonna. Oh, weird. Really? I was just sitting there rattling without signal because I was talking about YouTube. um, we're gonna break this off because I'm tired, and I don't want to pin you down. I'm tired and should not pin everybody down with my rambling, and see what they got, because they gotta, oh shit. So let's get some rest, and we will watch it tomorrow. I'll be watching them tomorrow. I admit I will, even if I'm blocked there. It's all right. I'll just crank it up and listen, walk around, do some work. But it's been fun. Much love. Thank you. Good night. Much love. And we'll hit it hard. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe an hour or two. All right, y'all. Thank you very much.